say, man, I don't know her. She's too quiet.
What up, though? It's your girl, She's Too Quiet, and welcome back to the She's Too Quiet podcast. She's Too Quiet is all about remembering your voice matters. Although you're quiet, people are actually interested in you. They want to know where you go, where you don't go, what you like, and what you don't like. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Your voice matters. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about insecurities. I hope that this is a safe space for me to tell you guys my insecurities. Y'all, I just want to say, be careful when you start a podcast because you're really going to want to expose yourself. So, it's just been amazing since I've started this podcast. It's like, oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. But then again, I'd be like, man, you really playing your hand, sis. You really laying out your cards. Like, you sure you trying to lay your cards out? But at this point in life, it's like, hey, it is what it is. We all human. We all share similar experiences. So I just hope the things that I say on this podcast, you guys can identify with. And if you can't, that's cool too. But I do want to, like I said, use this platform to grow and really transform myself into who I want to be. And that comes with practice and it comes with action. So, of course, I'm a quiet girl, but if I want to start talking more, I have to put in the work. I have to put out the episode. I have to say what's on my chest. I got to say it with my chest. And, I got to do the thing. So I'm doing the thing. And, I encourage you guys to do the same thing, especially if you have not addressed your insecurities and you have not addressed some things in your life that you feel is holding you back. This is the perfect time to do so. Life is short and we really can't have too many regrets in life. So whatever you have on your mind, whatever you're not comfortable with, whatever you're battling with, go ahead and address it. There is no shame. There's no harm here. I think it'll relieve a lot of stress off of you, a lot of weight off your back if you just begin to let some of this stuff go, Just let it go. It ain't even all that deep sometimes, but you just gotta address it, make it real, and put it behind you. So I do want to discuss a few of my insecurities, and I do want to talk a little bit about my fitness journey. I'm not too sure if my insecurities and my fitness journey really connect, but this is just the topic for today. So let's get into it. So my first insecurity, I would say I have two major ones. My first one has to be the gap between my teeth. So I have a little gap. It's not huge, but it's a little gap. It's there though. And it's been an insecurity of mine for some time now. I do want that nice smile, everything pearly white, it's all straight, everything in its place. And I've been considering closing my gap. There's a lot of pros and cons. I didn't realize that there were so many pros and cons until I went to my consultation for Invisalign. And that was a real reality check. Like, girl, do you really want to do this or not? Because you can choose. And it's crazy too, these salesmen, man. Y'all watch these salesmen out here, because the lady was acting like she was not going to let me leave without paying this money to get this Invisalign. And I'm like, sis, hold on though. I got questions. I need to make sure I'm really going to do this. And if I really want to do this, before I just sign some stuff. Y'all, they sent me the the line of credit information for the credit card, for the new smile. Then they sent me some other thing in my email while I was sitting in the chair. I'm like, Lord Jesus, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Trying to get your hands in my pocket, and I don't even know if I really want to do this yet. So Y'all be careful out here. Simple as a consultation. Anyways, I really had to talk this thing through. I called my dad. I was like, Dad, listen, this is what they said. This is what they want from me. This is what it's going to take, what it looked like, how long it's going to be, and all this stuff. And I was just talking it through with him. And there's pros and cons. For a pro, you know, of course I have my nice smile after 9 months. But yeah, smile be nice. I probably never have to worry about, you know, the straightness of my teeth again if I do what I'm supposed to do. What I wanted, right? That's what I want, right? I'm on this journey to really improving myself physically, spiritually, mentally. And I've been heavy on the self-care. I've been heavy on the, is this what you love? Or like, I've been really trying to put my thinking cap on when I do things, so I don't do things that I don't want to do. It's been too long that I live my life doing things I don't want to do. So I really been trying to think about things before I do them and be intentional about everything that I do. So that was one thing. I'm like, cool, great teeth. I'll have great teeth for a long time. Cool. Now the cons came in and then the list got a little long. So I would have to go to sleep with a retainer, and I was like, okay, you know, I get it. That's the price for straight teeth. You got to keep them straight. So although I would not want to do that, of course I would do it just to keep up the maintenance of the teeth. Got it. The other con that I was like, ooh, the price. It's about a little over $3,000, right? And that's with insurance. And I'm like, ooh, that's not bad. Talking to my dad, he put it in perspective for me. A lot of people pay a lot of money for this kind of stuff. Like whether they get other parts of their body done, it costs at least $10,000, $9,000 to get some of that type of work done. So that's just a little something. So I was like, okay, not bad, but not necessarily what I expected. I was hoping to pay like $1,500, you know, $2,000, something like that, but like 3,000 plus. I'm like, ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. That was another con. And then my gap, I don't know if gaps are hereditary, but my grandmother, she used to have one. And I'm like, okay, you would be taking that gap away if you had a child that had a gap. How cute would that be? You know, I was thinking about that, like, man, I ain't got no kids yet. What if my little boy and my little girl got a little gap, and we could be twins, you know, both of us with our gaps and whatnot. But I was like, yeah, you know, I don't know if I want to lose that piece of me. And somebody at work, I was telling her about it, and she was like, girl, I ain't gonna recognize you if you close your gap. And I was like, okay, I feel what you're saying, because you recognize people sometimes off of certain things. Like certain people, they have, let's just say, curly hair, or, you know, those kind of things, those attributes about a person. So she was like, I'm not going to recognize you without your gap. And like, yeah, I feel what you're saying, because that has identified me before, you know? So I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to get rid of it. And y'all know how Jeeps, when they on the road and they see each other and they honk their horn, like Jeep to Jeep, the same thing happens with people with gaps. Like when we see each other, we may not know each other, but if we smile at each other and we see our gaps, we like, okay, respect. You know, it's a real respect thing when you find somebody with a gap and you got one too. We understand the struggle. It's a mutual understanding. It's like gang, you know what I'm saying? So that would go away too. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to give up my membership card, you know? So yeah, verdict's still out on whether or not I'm gonna close the gap, but it has been an insecurity of mine for a couple of years. So we'll see what happens with that. But I keep thinking to myself, like, you're on this self-improvement journey. How much do you want to do it? Like, how much do you want to improve? And how much are you willing to improve? You know what I'm saying? What are you willing to risk? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to adjust in order to be who you want to be? I'm like, that's true though, because you want to be this person. Like, I want to be like proud when I see myself, and I'm not really there yet all the time. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to think like, how far do I push it? And you see people all the time, every day. They want to be something, they want to do something, they want to look a certain way. They put in the work to do it. And it's like, is that you? You cut like that? And so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's an insecurity. Now, my next insecurity, like I said, I hope this is a safe space. I know we all grown. I know there may be men listening to this, and I know women will listen to this. You can skip past this if you're a man. I'm going to be talking about the female anatomy, but if you want to stick around, that's cool too. It ain't going to be too deep. But my chest size, that has always been an insecurity of mine. And I'll tell you where I gained that insecurity. I gained that insecurity in middle school. Middle school, kids are really mean in middle school. So if you have children or you know children in middle school right now, talk to those kids because they're probably going through it, okay? That is the age where you discovering who you are as a person. You're introduced to race, you're introduced to friend groups, gender identity. You really learn about the economic status of your family. And the major thing, puberty hits when you're in middle school. I remember I was in class. I was a quiet girl too back then, so I didn't really talk to a lot of people in this particular class. And I remember sitting down. I think I came in, the person behind me came in after me, but I was already sitting down, right? And I remember him being like, she got some tick old bitties. Now I'll let y'all unscramble them words for yourself. I remember just sitting there like, what is he talking about? Like, what does he mean by that? And people were talking amongst themselves and whatever, but I'm like, what does that mean? Why did he say that? And I knew he was looking at me, but I didn't put two and two together. When it clicked, I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh. So from that point on, I became very self-conscious and I would put jackets on all the time. It don't matter if it was hot outside. I would make sure I had me a jacket. If I got too warm, I wouldn't pass out now. I go ahead, I tie my jacket around my waist and whatnot. But as soon as I got back inside, I would make sure I covered up. Until this day, I still have remnants of that in my daily life. Sometimes I don't really feel comfortable without a jacket. And it's just interesting how long you can carry some of these insecurities. And it's kind of like, whoa, this is an insecurity, because even till this day, for me to still not be all the way comfortable without a jacket, it's just crazy. Now, my family, I ain't even gonna hold you. My family, we carry heavy up top generally. So it's definitely nothing, of course, that I could have really controlled per se. But I did hear if you work out, they could shrink a little bit. So, yeah, that's another one. I've thought about getting work done to reduce them, but I have an issue a little bit with going under the knife. I'm just the type of person to where I feel like if I can try to improve it on my own, I'd rather do that than go under the knife. Now, if you're listening and you're for cosmetic surgery and you are down for getting things changed and stuff medically, cosmetically, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm just telling you guys my perspective. I'm just not the most comfortable with possibly going under the knife for something like that. For me, it has to be more life-threatening. But yeah, I've considered it, but like I said, I'm like, if it's not affecting the health, let me research some other things we can do to get this, how I want it. But yeah, so I've struggled with that too for a long time. And I feel like I've struggled, of course, with that one the longest as opposed to my gap. I really started feeling a way about my gap probably in high school. But yeah, definitely longer with the whole chest issue. But yeah, so I'm just trying to address my insecurities at this point in life. I'm really trying to see what I can do to change them, to make them into more of my strength and something that'll make me feel better about myself. Like I said, I'm really trying to focus on self-care, self-love this year. I really want to be the person that I see when I close my eyes. For a long time, I really didn't focus on it. I felt like it wasn't that important to me until now. I feel like it may have mattered more than I let on. So in order for me to change that, I really want to put in the work. So another thing too, I would say, is that insecurity has to be my weight. Let me tell you how much I weigh. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm naturally like a heavier girl. I'm on the thick side of things, and I used to be very athletic in school, but I was more like, I don't want to say big boned, but I was like big boned. But then like it's weird because when I look back on pictures of me growing up, I was smaller than I actually saw myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so weight has been an insecurity of mine, and I would trick myself into thinking that it didn't really matter. Like, hey, I'm thick, I got hips, I got butt out, you know, and that's just it. That's just me. And I really had to sit with myself one day and was like, do you like this for real? Like, do you like this for real? Are you just saying that because you don't want to work on it? And man, I'm telling you, this podcast thing, y'all, like I said, be careful if you're trying to get into podcasting, because it'll have you thinking, man. And I was like, do I like this, or am I too lazy to do something about it? So I decide to settle with it. Like, girl, you've been settling with it. And I was like, oh, Lord, yep, you right. So now that I know that I have been settling with it, I really want to make some changes in my life to just work on it. Like right now, I'm really about consistency. I don't want to worry about, oh, I need to be this way, or, oh, I need to be doing this, doing that. No, I just want to be consistent in whatever I'm doing. So I started my fitness journey, and so far it's going good. I'm 2 weeks in. I plan on kind of looking at my results or doing a review of how everything's going in 5 weeks. But so far everything's been going good. Now, if you're on your fitness journey, I just want to take some time to kind of talk a little bit about mine so far and give you a few tips on how I think I am going to last in making this more of a life change. Ultimately, there's been times where I've started a fitness journey, but I did not set myself up for success. And I feel like this time I really did a great job out the gate, making sure that I am in the best posture or the best position to do well in this journey. So one of the things that I did was I decided to take a week before I actually started the journey to just immerse myself in health and wellness. So in today's society, when I say immerse myself, I mean I went on YouTube. I went on Pinterest, I was on Instagram, and I was on TikTok. Okay, I hit up all the platforms so I can get as much information as I can on what to do to get started. So I was watching videos about working out, meal prep videos, videos of people in the gym trying the machines. I was looking at all that kind of stuff for a week straight, just trying to drill in my mind like what I'm about to do. And y'all, I would say that was one of the best things I ever did in regards to trying to start something new. I've learned so much, and I feel like this is the best start that I've gotten in this type of fitness kind of health and wellness arena. So yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. So I would encourage you, if you're about to start your journey, to do some work before you actually start. That will help you kind of build out your schedule. It'll help you kind of build out your plan. And we all know people that fail to plan to fail. So if you plan on making this a success, you really got to sit down and look at that thing. You got to look at that thing, because it ain't going to be easy, but a plan definitely helps. Another thing that I did is I picked a gym, and I went online looking up all the gyms in my area to kind of see which one had the greatest amenities for me based off of what I wanted to do. And for me, a sauna was really important to me because I feel like that would be a great way for me to kind of decompress, and at the same time I would be still, getting toxins out of my body, because I really want to make sure everything that I do adds to my overall goal. And so every part of my workout, I'm like, I want to be able to have like a full hour or a full 30 minutes of work. Like, I don't want no lag time. I don't want no, non-value time added when I go to the gym. So I felt like a sauna would actually help me relieve some pain in my muscles. So I did find a gym with a sauna, and I actually went to go take a tour of the gym before I started working out. Now, I know this may sound crazy, but one of the videos I watched talked about how important that was. And I agree, because you really get to know the layout of the gym before even going there, which makes you more confident in being there. So I took the tour with the gentleman. He showed me the different areas of the gym, a few of the different types of equipment that they had, pointed me to where the women's locker room was. And when you go in the women's locker room, you can see what you need to bring. Like, how big are the lockers? Do I need to bring a lock, or do I have to pay for one for $20 at the gym when I get there on my first day? Because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely helps you answer all of those questions that you may have about the gym before actually jumping headfirst in it. So yeah, so it's been going good so far. I hope that I can keep this up. I am planning to keep this up. I will keep this up. But it's just been a great experience so far. I do meal prep. I've been meal prepping on Saturdays. I decided to go ahead and get me a Sam's membership so I can get a few things in bulk, especially because of the amount of times you have to eat. And that's been quite an adjustment for me, because I was normally like a 1 meal or 2 meal a day type of person. I never ate 3 meals, and I would snack, but not really. And so it just, helped me realize how slow my metabolism is, because I really didn't eat that much, which in turn made it easy for me to gain weight and stuff like that. So having to eat all the time, that has been an adjustment for me. Although it's, balanced meals, smaller meals, things like that, it is quite frequent as compared to when I wasn't on this journey. So it's definitely an adjustment in that area. And I would also say the other major adjustment is the time. So on that angle, you take a lot of time cooking. I ain't never had to wash so many dishes in my life. Every meal that you cook, everything you heat up, it is so many dishes. And I'm like, oh my goodness. None of those videos talked about that, and I'm mad about that. Not to say I wouldn't have done it, but it would have been nice to know. You know what I'm saying? I'm always washing dishes, and that takes a lot of time. Like, half of my Saturday is devoted to meal prep. And I'm like, whew, that's a long time. That's a lot of hours. You know what I'm saying? And another time thing is getting up, or the time it takes to work out. I myself, I'm not a morning person, but I really want to be. In my hearts of hearts, I want to be a morning person. I want to get up early enough for me to work out, and then I want to transition into work. Then I want to come home. I want to work on She's Too Quiet. I want to go to bed at a decent time. That's how I want to live my life. But it takes work to get there. So y'all, let me know if this is crazy or not in the comments below. However, you should do it though. What I did was, that week when I was doing intense fitness studies, I would decide to plug up my phone outside of my bedroom, and I was waking up every morning just to practice. Call me crazy, but it works. Like, I knew I had to practice getting up, because if I wanted to go to the gym in the morning, of course you got to get up early. You got to get out on time, because then you got to come back, get ready for work and things like that. So y'all, I practiced getting up every morning like I was going to the gym. And it works, because now I can get up and go to the gym, and it's not like a shock. You know what I'm saying? It's not a culture shock to me after the first week of doing it. So make sure you just set yourself up before you start to make sure that you're as successful as you can be, especially if you're looking to make more of a lifestyle change and not just a temporary, I need to lose this weight type of thing. Now, for me, I do have a target date. I do have a goal. I'm trying to see my progress by my birthday, which is in July. So I'm hoping if I keep up this regimen for the next couple of months, I'll be at a place to where I'm happy with me. And yeah, so that's pretty much today's episode. I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for your support. If you're interested in seeding into the She's Too Quiet podcast, feel free to give via Cash App at the handle $ She's Too Quiet. Remember, love God, love people. Until next time, deuces.